Hi, my name's Allison Clark, and this is another episode of Cowbells and Conversations. Today, I'm so excited to have my friend that I grew up with in Evergreen, Colorado, join me as my guest today. And the reason I chose Jennifer Hanzlick is because she started a business that's really been impacting so many people in Denver, Colorado. And Jennifer, today I just wanted you to really let people know first how you started your business, and then also what have you learned once you have started your business, because it's made a huge impact. You've even done a TED Talk about it. So I just wanted to hear from your point of view why you started it and the impact that you've had.
Yeah, that's good. Okay. So let's see. Years ago, back in 2008, I got laid off from corporate America. So in the middle of that whole thing, I was at home watching TV, seeing everything that was happening. I was in financial services. The banks were failing. CEOs were still getting bonuses. And I was like, I am not going to keep doing this. I had no idea what I wanted to do at the time. So at first I did what anybody would do, and I watched Oprah.
Nice.
So yeah, I was like, I need to find my passion.
Yes.
I had no idea, but I was like, who knows what that even means? So in the middle of that, finding my passion, I did things like Habitat for Humanity. I went to Haiti on a medical mission trip. I was doing all these things to kind of get out of my way, just to like open it up and see what I could do. And then I remember in the middle of that, my mom called me one day and she was like, hey, my grandpa was in the hospital. So she was like, we hadn't been in his home for years. So she said, why don't you come with me? Let's make sure he's able to come home. So we had no idea what we were getting into. No idea. We hadn't been in his home for years, which is really key when it comes to hoarding, because a lot of the people, they don't let people in, and that's a good sign that there's something going on behind closed doors. So we ended up going in the house, couldn't get in the front door. This was before all the TV shows. So this was so new that no one even knew what it was going to look like. We had to get in the back door. There was just a little path, and we just were devastated. I mean, we didn't know what to do. It took us 3 months to clean that out. So we did a lot of, we did a lot of donated, we did garage sales. We had a dumpster. We did everything wrong. My grandma, in the middle of it, she was traumatized, and that's what happens with these individuals. So anyway, in the middle of that, I told my mom, I'll never forget the day I came, and I was like, you know what? I did a little bit of research online, and I said, I could do this. I want to start a business. And so I used my severance, bought a dump truck, and then me and my mom started hauling trash.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, it was awesome. This was like a male dominated industry. It was
Right.
Mom and I driving around in a dump truck. We were in the landfills. I mean, it was a scene. I'll tell you that for sure. But along the way, I really connected with this demographic of people, because I understood that it was so much more than just removing their stuff, that there was such emotional ties to it. And not only that, this whole demographic of people had been isolated, they're ashamed, they're afraid, they're cut off from society. And then that was like the bigger message. And it took me a few years. So that was 11 years ago. It took me a few years to really understand it. And now I get out and speak about it because it's so big. I mean, you'd be amazed at the number of people that are hiding behind closed doors, living in conditions where they want help, but it's not even that they can't get help. It's that they're too ashamed and embarrassed to ask for help or even let anyone in their home. So it's been quite a journey. I've seen a lot. It's fascinating to me to watch humans, just the human side of hoarding, because these are all people and they all have stories and they all have so much that people just don't pay attention to them.
What are some statistics about hoarding that might shock or also just educate us?
Oh yeah. I mean, so it's estimated that 2 to 5% of the population suffers from hoarding. Wow. I completely believe it's even more. So that would be 15 million people. I can't go anywhere. It doesn't matter where I go. When I say what I do, I'll tell people I help people with hoarding. and they either know someone, they know a neighbor, it's a family member, or even it's them themselves. So it's so prevalent. People don't understand it, and not a lot of people like to talk about it. It's one of those things they're like, oh,
right.
It's definitely not what you think once you get in to start helping. Yeah.
Right. And then you started a company. So tell us what your company's name is, but then also, because now you have other people besides you and your mom actually going around and helping people. So what does that look like? And then also, what have you seen the impact been? Because you've only just started in Colorado, correct? You're only in one state right now.
Yeah. For the service side of it, for the service related side of it, which we have trucks and we have a team of people that can go in one-on-one and help. And that's Denver and Colorado Springs. So that's grown significantly between me and my mom. I don't really do the day-to-day anymore. But other than that, so I started a hoarding task force in Colorado, and that's just another way to help people. And then also we're developing a coaching program, because this group of people, what they want, what they need is accountability and support, sometimes therapy, but there's just not enough resources out there for people with hoarding. And that is national. So I get calls from all over the United States to help people with the emotional side of it. And I know it's because I understand it and I connect with them, and it's really about connection. And so even with all my employees, we may be going into a situation that is just not desirable. So it can be kind of trashy. You could have things that you don't really want to step in or smell, put it like that. Right. But when you're really working with the human side of it, you get beyond all that.
You look past that.
You look so past that. And then, I mean, we can have fun. It's not like they don't know how they're living. So when you just address it and just acknowledge it and treat them like a human, which a lot of people don't, you make good results. And then I know we change lives. So that much I do. It's yes. It's just a ripple effect. You know, I was working with a woman, and she was really upset. She really had been like separated from her family. So her family was judging, and that happens a lot. And this can happen with anything. This can happen with an addiction or anything. When a family can't change the behavior, they then, you get disconnected. So I'm working with her, and she asked me to call the family. So I have a conversation with the whole family. It was kind of like an intervention. And I just explained it from her side, and I explained it from how I see it. And it just made this huge opening for the family. And when I went in to work with her the next day, she's just got tears. She's crying. And she said, I don't know what you told my family, but for the first time in years, they hugged me.
Oh, wow.
Like seriously, like there's so many people out there that are just craving kindness and compassion and connection.
Understanding.
Yeah. So
wow.
I mean, that's every day. So, and any of us can do that, right? I mean,
so what would you tell us to do? Because like you said, a lot of people either know someone who's hoarding, they hoard themselves. Like, what can we do to take that extra step to be more compassionate, more understanding, so we all can make just a little bit of difference in the hoarding world?
Don't try to change them.
Yeah.
So that'll happen on their own when they're good and ready.
They're ready.
Yes.
Like
Support is huge. Support them in their journey, and understand that they themselves know that it's something they're not really proud of, and they're living with a lot that goes underneath it. It's usually childhood trauma that's unresolved. It's a lot of mental issues. So the first thing I would say is support, kindness, compassion, just open up, have a conversation. Again, get your own, I think, thoughts and your own agenda and how you think a house should look, and set that aside and focus on who they are. What were they good at? Who is deep inside? Connect with that, and that changes everything. Yeah, they'll change on their own once they feel supported and loved and cared for. Because unless and until that happens, it's really tough. It's really hard for them to get beyond the clutter of the house. Their mind. Yeah.
And it kind of goes back to just the statistics about loneliness and depression right now, that it is at an all-time high. And this is
Yeah.
probably even getting worse, perhaps, just because the human connection is now so disconnected. So we
Yeah.
really do have to make it a point to reach out to people.
Yeah, it's so true. I mean, it's this, it doesn't even need to be somebody in the hoarding community. It's just, and especially elderly. So
Mm-hmm.
we do a lot with elderly, and they don't even necessarily need to be hoarding. It's just
Mm-hmm.
they've lost connection. And what
Mm-hmm.
is that? I mean, yeah, it's
Mm-hmm.
tough. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
to see every day and just see. But I think that every single person can have an impact.
Mm-hmm.
So even something like that, even
Mm-hmm.
just something like talking to somebody and now she's able to hug. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
she can just heal, and then everybody in her community, it's just a
Yes.
ripple effect. Yeah.
Yes. I love it.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I was going to say, I am so proud of that you chose to start a business to make such a huge impact, because what
Yeah.
you do truly changes lives, and also the lives of those people.
Yeah. Thank you. It's funny. I didn't know it at the time. I literally in the beginning thought it was just gonna haul junk, and I was
Right.
physical. I wanted to move around.
Yep.
And then it was like, this is not it. It's so much bigger than that.
It's
Yeah.
deeper.
It is way deeper. So
Yep.
yeah, now when I speak on it, I can see the impact that it makes in the crowds, and that is what I love. Just to have again that connection, and people see it from a different angle. You
Mm-hmm.
know, they're just not. It's not really what they thought originally. That it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't have to do with just the clutter in the home, and you get this stereotype of a person with cats, and they're like, a recluse, but that's not what is going on. No,
Mm-hmm.
they're
Good.
definitely, yeah.
And so you are really trying to launch more of your speaking just to educate people and have more compassion in the world.
Yeah, that's
Yep.
exactly right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's needed. It's certainly needed today.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. More than ever.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for coming
Yeah.
on the Cowbell and Conversations. You definitely get some cowbell.
Okay, good.
And the
That's
ideas
awesome.
that ring is truly to be compassionate. You're right. We all judge people without knowing their story. So really to reach
Yes.
out, to be more compassionate. And if we know someone who has a hoarding problem, to really give them resources like you provide, but also just doing that one thing, the one phone call, the one conversation can truly make
Yeah.
a difference.
It really can. I mean, especially like put it like if it's your neighbor or something, just say hello. Like,
Mm-hmm.
it's one thing to be upset about the property and the value of the property and the way it looks, but just remember there's somebody behind that property. There's somebody inside. Just
Mm,
make the connection. You might not, I mean, you'll never know what you're going to do. So,
exactly.
yeah.
Good. So
Yeah.
make one connection and we truly can make a difference.
Yes, that is
Yes.
so true. Yeah, it is.
Well, thank you again for coming on the show, and we will all be more compassionate and remember your story.
Thank you. This
Thank
is
you.
good. Yep. Bye.